Welcome to Creative Ends platform, the home of creativity. You are welcome. So today I'll be talking about how to use your Asoke to create hairband. So the hairband I will be making is the cone style of hairband, and that's what you are seeing. I'll be showing you the measurement and also how I wrapped the hairband itself. Is that okay? All right, so straight to the table. This is the Asoke material I'll be using. So I will be showing you how I'll cut the length, the measurement. I'll use UHU glue. That's UHU glue, and then I will use hairband. Then at least from the picture you saw that I have some embellishment. So I'll quickly start with how I wrap the band. So this is the measurement I'm taking. I just place the band on the Asoke and then roll it through. So if you are not using this local method, you can measure your Asoke and then use the length. You can measure the hairband and then transfer the length on your Asoke. So to enable me wrap without stress, I'll just tear the Asoke into two. You know, the width of Asoke is usually 6.5. So when you share into two, you just have like 3 1/4 or whatsoever. So that's what I'll be using to wrap. So quickly, to wrap it without stress, I'll just simply apply the UHU glue on the headband, and then I'll try to smoothen it. If you can use your brush, it's okay. If you can use your hand, it's your choice. But I just used the back of the glue to do that because I don't want to touch it with my hands. Sometimes it gets so sticky and sometimes irritating. So I just don't want to use my hands to touch it. So I just try to spread and smoothen it with the UHU glue container itself. So after I finish smoothing, I'll just place it on top of the Asoke at the midpoint. Place it firm and then roll it to the left and then roll it to the right. With that one, I'll have a smooth fixing. I prefer doing this because it usually gives me a perfect, very perfect finishing. So while I do the work, you can do the work using your hot glue, but I don't really advise the use of the hot glue. It has some kind of some things I just don't like. It's not smooth and all of that. So for me, some persons might do it and it will be very smooth for them, but for me, this is the one that works for me and this is what I use. All right, so you know, after cutting the Asoke, you are going to have a part that can probably lose and then the edge that is firm. So you first of all glue that part that can probably lose before gluing the other part that you know is very secured on it, so that you avoid having all these rope on your hairband. So I've done the first part and it's perfect. But if you look at the hairband, you know, towards the end of the hairband is very slim. So what the middle will accommodate, the end part will not accommodate. So I am trimming that excess part off. But I'm not going to do the same for the finishing. I'll show you how I will wrap the finishing. This is because this part I'm trimming now will be under, so there's no need having this excess that will now form some kind of lumps and don't allow the smooth finishing. So I have to cut it off. But when it comes to this final part, I will not cut that part off. I'll show you what I'll do because it's going to be useful while I do the finishing of the hairband itself. So it's going to be useful. So after applying this glue now, I just simply, it's very easy to wrap. Then there's something I want to ship in. If you want your hairband to be fat, You understand? You see some headband is fat. We even have some of it that are already made in the market where you see that is fat, is thick. So what we do is that you can actually add a foam, FOAM, foam underneath before wrapping. So it's going to give it that big look. Okay, so this is the finishing. You know, under I trim it off, but for this finishing I will not trim it off. So I will just like apply my glue and then turn it across the edge. It's beautiful anyway, so there's no need worrying about it. What I'm trying to avoid is that I don't want a situation whereby I cut off this part that is secured and then I start having thread coming out of the Asoke. You know, Asoke have this annoying way of losing. You understand? So I don't want to have any stress like that. So because of that, I try to secure. And moreover, it's very important for the finishing. That's just it. Because I will need a part of this hairband where I can actually attach elastic. You cannot attach the elastic to the stick, which is the hairband itself. You can't sew it. So you need to have some extra material where you can actually sew that thing to, and it will be perfect. All right, so now I will just trim off this part, but I'm not trimming completely. I left the part I'll be using to sew. I'll still close that part up with hot glue later. So while I do my work, I work with both glues, so I don't have preference. Every one of the glue have what I do with them. So I use the UHU glue, yes, I use the hot glue when necessary. So right now, let's talk about the cone. You know, cone is a very beautiful shape. We create cone even with cinnamon for fascinators, you understand? So it's the same pattern we are going to be using for this particular one. So what I did was to cut out 8 inches of the Asoke, and for that 8 inches I just cut out about 9 pieces. You can do only 3 sef. It's a thing of choice depending on how full you want it to be. If you want just 3, if you want just 4, it's beautiful. You understand? So what I'm doing is that I'm going to fold in the edges. That is, I'm going to hem it. I will hem the edges. Some persons can use glue, but I don't like using glue. You know, I'm usually careful with hot glue. It has a way of staining your work very fast and making it look unprofessional. So I'm very careful. Now at this point, I have finished hemming all the pieces of Asoke I cut off, but I need to iron it. The reason I'm ironing is because I need to get a perfect cone. I need a perfect cone, and so because I need a perfect cone, I need to iron and ensure the smoothness of the cone that I'm going to use. If you do not have iron and you just want to fold like that, it's not bad. Just ensure you work on the edges very well with your fingers. But if you have iron, I prefer you using iron on it. Is that okay? All right, so I actually ironed all my own. I folded in a triangular shape. First, you know, by the time I finished hemming, I got a square. So I divide the square into 2 by folding it like in a triangular shape. These shapes you are seeing in my hands now. Are you getting me? So for me to form the cone, I'll still need to fold it in a triangular shape again. So it's just like folding it in a triangular shape twice. Do you get me? So the middle of the triangle is what I will use. I've folded it into 2, and this is how it will look. Now, after folding it into 2 and getting it, making sure that it is equal, I will now come to the final edge, which is the bottom where you see my hands now. And first of all, fold a part of it inward. I will tuck it in, and then to make it stay, I will now apply my hot glue to it. And whenever I apply the hot glue, I will hold on to it, allow it to dry first before I proceed to gluing the remaining parts. So you can see a perfect cone that I have there. The problem is you must be very careful while you are trying to glue. I hate hot glue for one thing. It can stain your work very fast. Except you have spray paint, you might not really be able to redeem that work. Except maybe you start using what do I call embellishment to want to cover. So as much as possible, I want to use embellishment because I really want to use it, not because I'm trying to cover my faults. Are we together? So as much as possible, if you are embarking on this project, at this very junction, you must be very careful with what you are doing. Is that okay? So after holding that button and ensuring that it glues perfectly, I will start opening this part bit by bit, apply the glue also carefully, and then cover it carefully as well. Carefully. If your hands should even touch the glue, it will stain. So you just have to be very careful. You just have to be very careful. Your hands touch the glue, it will stain. So very careful at this junction. Do not rush over it. Do not be in a haste. You will surely get what you are doing. One thing I know is that for you to get a perfect work, you give your time to it. You understand? You give your time to it. And practice they say makes perfection. So when you keep doing something, you get used to it, you understand the pattern, and then you can now be fast. But if it be your first time, you just have to ensure that you are very careful. You know the joy of getting a perfect work. You understand? All right. So this is just how I form the cone. I hope you do enjoy this class today. All right. Something I will just add quickly is that after folding your cone, you can actually use what they call that, trimming, to line your edges even before you fold. That is, if you want to add some kind of style to it, you can use trimming to wrap the edges before folding or after folding. And then at the middle of the cone, you can also introduce trimming from the middle. That's the line where it join now. You can introduce trimming. It's just going to give it a kind of finishing reflection. But if you don't need it, it's not necessary. Even in this project, I did not add it. Is that okay? All right. If today is your first time stopping by Creative Ends channel, please do not forget to subscribe before leaving. All right. This is the reason you have to subscribe. I know sometimes you might just want to make reference to some videos and you start searching for the channel, but if you subscribe, the channel will always be there. You will not need to like search and search. You might even forget the name if you don't subscribe, but if you subscribe, it will be fast for you to get to us, and it will be very fast for you to get the videos that you are looking for. I do hope you enjoyed today's class. Just watch the rest of the video and enjoy yourself. And then if you have anything you want me to do, any project where you have challenges, don't worry, just send it to me. Use my WhatsApp number. I'll get back to you on it. I might not fix it immediately, but it's a promise that I'll surely do it for you. Is that okay? All right. So for me, it's bye for now. Bye.